5 days. That's how long this active stretch is going to run, and it's starting right now. From the Central Plains down through the Deep South and Dixie Alley, severe weather is lining up in waves, and some of these days carry genuinely dangerous potential. The Storm Prediction Center has outlined risks stretching from today all the way into Wednesday and beyond, with Tuesday and Wednesday standing out as the most significant threats of the entire period. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's get right into the forecast. Let's start with the big picture. What you're dealing with this week is not a single isolated event. It's a multi-wave severe weather pattern that keeps resetting. Today, Sunday, brings only a marginal threat, mainly over Missouri and Illinois. Monday is a slight step up, with scattered storms possible from the southern Great Lakes back into the Central Plains. But Tuesday and Wednesday are the days that demand your real attention. The Storm Prediction Center has flagged the Southern Plains and the Mid-South for a slight risk of severe weather on both days, with the potential for upgrades as high-resolution model data comes in. All hazards are in play: damaging winds, large and very large hail, and tornadoes. Wednesday over Dixie Alley is the day I'm watching with the most concern, and I'll explain exactly why in a moment. Before we get into day-by-day details, it's worth understanding why all of this is happening at all. The dominant driver is a large upper-level trough parked over the central and eastern United States all week, reinforced by a synoptic scale upper-low sitting over central to southeastern Canada. That system is pumping cold air southward into the Midwest, and temperatures at 500 millibars are going to be around negative 20 degrees Celsius. That kind of cold air aloft steepens the mid-level lapse rates dramatically, which is a critical ingredient for explosive thunderstorm updrafts. At the same time, a separate Pacific trough is going to eject out of the southwest and merge with the northern stream early this week, and that merger is what energizes the Tuesday and Wednesday events. At the surface, low pressure will develop over the southern plains and track eastward into Arkansas as a cold front pushes southeast across Oklahoma, Arkansas, and the lower Ohio Valley. Ahead of that front, Gulf moisture surges northward. Dew points in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees Fahrenheit are forecast Tuesday evening across southeastern Oklahoma and the Arklatex region. Exceptional moisture for early May. Pair that with very strong southwesterly flow, and you have a recipe for well-organized, dangerous supercells. Today, Sunday, is the quietest day of the stretch. You're mainly looking at a few elevated thunderstorm clusters, developing after dark tonight over Missouri and into Illinois, with the best focus near Springfield and back towards St. Louis. These storms aren't anything that should cause major concern, but if you're in those areas, stay aware. Quarter to half-dollar-sized hail is the primary threat, along with maybe 1 or 2 wind gusts around 60 miles an hour. Tornado risk today is very low. Think of today as the opening act. Monday escalates modestly. Storm coverage will be more widespread than today, with activity expected to fire up during the mid to late afternoon over the Chicago metro area and into Michigan. From there, storms become more numerous into the evening, spreading from Kansas City back into Ohio. The tornado risk remains fairly low on Monday. The primary hazards are isolated damaging wind gusts in the 40 to 60 miles per hour range with the possibility of large hail mixed in. If you have outdoor plans Monday afternoon or evening from northern Missouri up through the southern Great Lakes, keep a close eye on the radar. The low-pressure system driving Monday's activity is tracking out of Canada, which limits the storm organization. It's a less favorable wind shear profile compared to what arrives Tuesday. Tuesday is a completely different story, and if you live anywhere from Dallas-Fort Worth through southeastern Oklahoma and into the Arkansas River Valley, this is where you need to start paying close attention. A new storm system is going to eject over the Rockies Tuesday, and that crossing matters a lot. When a low pressure crosses the Rockies, it triggers turbulent mixing, warm air entrainment on the lee side, and a dramatic ramp-up in atmospheric wind shear. By Tuesday afternoon, the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather outlined from central Missouri back through the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. But a slight risk in this environment should not be taken lightly. Supercells are going to try to develop somewhere between Springfield and the southern Missouri border during the afternoon, capable of large hail and an isolated tornado risk, especially near any surface boundaries. The bigger concern on Tuesday is across Oklahoma and North Texas. Powerful supercells could fire up along the Red River Valley during the afternoon and evening, and in an environment with very strong southwesterly flow, steep lapse rates, and surging Gulf moisture, those storms could produce baseball-sized hail or larger, damaging winds and a legitimate, significant tornado threat. Significant tornado parameter values increase substantially by the late afternoon and early evening hours across Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma. So if you're in Dallas-Fort Worth, near Idabel in southeastern Oklahoma, or in the Fort Smith and Little Rock areas, Tuesday is a weather-aware day. Capping is expected to become a problem after sunset over northern Texas, which may limit storm development in the overnight window. But this is something we'll continue to monitor heading through the day Tuesday. By the evening hours, storms clustering over northwest Arkansas and the Cape Girardeau area will mainly threaten very large hail and damaging winds before tracking into Tennessee and Arkansas overnight, bringing the primary risk of damaging winds toward Nashville and Memphis. Wednesday is the day that I genuinely believe carries outbreak potential and possibly tornado outbreak potential, depending on one critical uncertainty, which I want to explain carefully. The Storm Prediction Center currently has a slight risk of severe weather from central Texas back through Birmingham, Alabama, right through the heart of Dixie Alley. This region has seen relatively little significant severe weather so far this year, and Wednesday could be the release valve for that pent-up atmospheric energy. The key question is storm mode. There are two distinct scenarios in play. Scenario 1 is discrete supercells. If storms develop individually and maintain separation, you're looking at rotating supercells across Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. In that setup, the tornado risk becomes substantially elevated. Strong to intense tornadoes would be on the table. Scenario 2 is clustered, linear convection. Storms congealing into squall lines that push southeast. In that case, the tornado risk drops, but a widespread damaging wind threat from 60 to 80 miles per hour across the same region takes center stage. My current lean is toward the clustered storm mode being more likely, which would favor a significant wind event with embedded tornadoes rather than a full supercell outbreak. But this forecast is still evolving, and the next round of high-resolution guidance will be critical. If you live anywhere from East Texas through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and into Tennessee, you need to be weather aware on Wednesday. Make sure you have a way to receive warnings. If the setup trends toward discrete supercells, this becomes a very serious day for Dixie Alley. Looking further out, Thursday brings isolated supercell potential along the East Coast from Florida up through Maryland as the cold front continues its push. Not a significant outbreak, but isolated hail, wind, and a low tornado threat are possible. Friday looks like a brief reprieve for most of the country. By Saturday, the pattern resets and severe weather potential returns to the central and southern plains, potentially setting up another active stretch heading into the following week. One more thing worth noting, this pattern is remarkably cold for early May. That upper level, low-locked over Canada is going to keep sending shots of frigid air into the Midwest and northern plains all week, freezing temperatures. Wednesday morning and Thursday morning are possible across portions of the northern plains and upper Midwest. In early May, that is genuinely unusual. The Climate Prediction Center is calling for below-average temperatures for much of the Great Lakes region and East Coast between May 8th and May 12th, while the West Coast stays well above average. Here's the bottom line. Today is quiet. Stay aware. Monday steps up with scattered severe potential but no outbreak. Tuesday brings real supercell potential and a significant tornado threat in Oklahoma and North Texas. Wednesday is the wild card, either a major wind event or a tornado outbreak in Dixie Alley, and both scenarios demand your respect. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for the latest updates as Tuesday and Wednesday approach. The forecast will evolve fast, and I will have detailed coverage for you as the high-resolution data comes in. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.